Find link between video games and violent behavior. Joining me now, Dr. Keith Ablow. This is round two. We tried to do this yesterday, had a little bit of a signal problem. You're from the Fox Medical A-team. Great to see you again, Dr. Ablow.
Good to see you, Gretchen.
All right, so let's take a look at this link between these recent teen killers and video games. The Columbine shooters, Virginia Tech shooter, the Arizona shooter, the Norway shooter, the Aurora shooter, the Newtown shooter. What do you make of it?
Well, you know, if you see unanimity in anything, you start saying, is there a link? Since all of these folks were addicted to violent video games, and then you pile on that during August we heard that an 8-year-old boy had watched Grand Theft Auto and shot a 90-year-old woman, killing her. Once you have this number of anecdotes, you have to ask the question, is there an actual link? And that question is now being asked and beginning to be answered in the affirmative, that there is a link between video games that are violent and violence in the real world.
So you do this for a living. Would you believe that you would suggest that there should be a warning, a Surgeon General warning on these types of games?
Well, I do think there should be a Surgeon General's warning on these games, and the Surgeon General, the AMA, the APA, every massive medical organization has come out and said, we think there's a link. Now, when you have that kind of data, along with a recent study that showed 130,000 people across various studies that were then looked at collectively, that showed that watching violent video games increases aggression and decreases empathy, and that's the key. If you don't have empathy, you're free in a terrible way to do very violent things. I think it is time for that warning. This is no different than any other drug. Some people are more susceptible. You could argue there are outliers, like the shooters we mentioned, who are affected in a special way. But that's true for any drug, and everyone is at risk.
That's why this whole issue is so much more complicated than just gun control. There's so many other factors. Mental illness, video games are just two of them. Dr. Ablow, thanks so much for your time. Have a great week.
It's a pleasure. You too.
Coming up.